Those details nailed down.
And we also are now hearing from Savannah Mayor Van Johnson, who has provided a statement. You see it right there on your screen. He says he's extending our prayers and assistance to our friends and soldiers at Fort Stewart. Of course, we are hearing from all kinds of elected officials as this situation continues to unfold, and our crews who are on the way not just to Fort Stewart but also to the hospital.
Yeah, so we want to get straight out to Shay Schrader.
And more new details. You see at the top of your screen there that Fort Stewart on lockdown. We also just got word, and if you have the WTOC News app, you saw this push alert to your smartphone as well, that the lockdown has been lifted for schools on Fort Stewart. All Appling County schools are currently in a level 1 lockdown. Now that came to us just about 10 minutes ago. If you're tracking this article on WTOC.com, all the latest information will go right there. It's what I have up on our iPad here, because that truly is where we put all of that information as soon as it comes into the newsroom. And you just saw that Shay Schrader already at the hospital monitoring the situation there and bringing us live reports.
Yeah.
More new information as well. The shooter has been apprehended. We are just now hearing that the active shooter on Fort Stewart has been apprehended. Also that the lockdown has been lifted on the main part of the base. Obviously that a huge sigh of relief for folks out there.
Definitely. It's been a tense hour and a half since this started.
And we just heard from Shay, but we're told she has another update. So let's get right back out to her. Shay at Memorial Hospital, what can you tell us now? In that area right there that has a bullseye on it right now, 2ABCT, those aren't just random letters. That's the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. That's where the folks at Fort Stewart are telling us this shooting happened in particular. If you're just joining us, 5 soldiers have been shot in an active shooter incident in that 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area of Fort Stewart, just beyond the gate you're looking at right now, one of the entry gates to the base. We are told that that suspect, as you see at the bottom of your screen, is in custody, and that allowed the lockdown to be lifted. All right, Shay, thanks for that live report. As you all can tell at home, Dawn Baker is now with us. Madeline Hunt has stepped off. She's had a long morning. She's been here since the very early morning.
Exactly.
And now, Dawn, you're here. Obviously, I know you've been monitoring this situation as well. You've obviously got so much experience in this area. I'm just curious for your perspective as to if you can remember something like this on base, where we've had an active shooter, now we know shoot and injure 5 of our soldiers. We'll continue to bring you the reaction we're getting from local politicians as well. Senator Raphael Warnock, not just of Georgia, but of course a son of Savannah, now releasing a statement saying, quote, "I'm heartbroken to see the news of an active shooter incident at Fort Stewart today. We know that 5 of our soldiers here at home have been shot where you said, Dawn, they should be safe, where they potentially sleep at night, where their families do." We're getting another live shot here of Memorial Hospital as there seems to be an ambulance arriving from Central EMS. Of course, we can't confirm to you that this is one of the 2 soldiers Memorial Hospital officials are telling us are being brought there to be treated after being shot at Fort Stewart. But what we can show you and tell you is that right there, what you're seeing on your screen, that there is a new ambulance arriving at Memorial Hospital, which we will continue to remind you is the only level 1 trauma center in the region, meaning it takes our most seriously injured patients.
The best care they possibly can.
And as soon as Shay has eyes on that, she is our and your eyes on the scene there at Memorial. She'll let our producer know, who will then yell at us in our ear to get out there so that you all and we can see those moments as they unfold and bring you that latest updated information. As soon as we know that those soldiers are there, you will know in that very moment that is happening. We are getting information constantly. I do want to mention that earlier in the day we heard that some of the school districts in the surrounding coastal empire, not necessarily around base, had put lockdowns in place as well. We're now hearing that Appling County schools, who did have a lockdown in place, have lifted that lockdown as well. They say additionally the Hinesville Police Department has also released a statement. I'm reading this from our website, WTOC.com. Hinesville Police Department saying, along with other local law enforcement agencies, that they responded to assist Fort Stewart law enforcement regarding an active shooter incident. And at this time, the scene is secure. That was posted by the Hinesville Police Department about 30 minutes ago on their social media platforms, Dawn, and it's the level of kind of good news, that sigh of relief that we take with a grain of salt as these investigations will continue. You just saw one of those presumed victims, one of those soldiers, we think, being brought into Memorial. Let's run back through a timeline of when this all started and check out exactly how long it's been since this incident happened. We know that this timeline started several hours ago. We're told that law enforcement was dispatched for a possible shooting. You see it right there on your screen at 10:56 this morning. And of course, welcome to our community. Dawn, your show starts at 3 o'clock, and as days like this unfold, so do our shows, right? Our typical newscasts don't exactly look typical after this because everyone is hard at work doing this, trying to bring you the updates live right now at 1:39, when typically we wouldn't be on the air for another hour and 20 minutes, but a situation like this just warrants that we want to be here for you to bring you those details as soon as we can. I know that our team around the newsroom, not just in the studio, not just Shay out there or Madeline on Fort Stewart, is working to reach out to as many people as we can to get you information and reaction. I'm seeing that we have a statement up on our website from Senator Jon Ossoff as well, that our team has reached out to him and that he has now responded, or his team has, to say that Senator Ossoff is aware of the situation at Fort Stewart and monitoring it closely. Yes, our first soldier that arrived at Memorial Health came in that ambulance. We watched it happen with our Shay Schrader, and you're still seeing the pictures out there as it kind of shifts our camera, that ambulance is now to reposition as that soldier awaits treatment and will stay there. Of course, it said U.S. Army on it. We know that that is one of the soldiers who was there and was brought to Memorial about 25 minutes ago, and that happened hours after that dispatch call came in at 10:56. If you're just joining us, like Dawn just mentioned, because we know that a lot of people are joining at different times to get different levels of information, aware of different levels of detail, that 5 soldiers were all shot within Fort Stewart at a specific area. It was the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area, that's where the shooting happened, and the soldiers were treated on site before being moved to Wynn Army Community, and now 2 of them being moved to Memorial.
But we also know that we have a crew that they're at Fort Stewart, right?
We absolutely do. Madeline Bierster has been around the base, making her way to different gates throughout the last few hours, and we can bring her back in now live again. Madeline, what can you show us out there that we can't see ourselves from here?
If you're familiar with the base there at Fort Stewart.
And if you're not, our crews have been out there trying to bring you those live pictures as to what it looks like in real time. Our Madeline Bierster has spent the day going to several different of the arrival and exit gates at Fort Stewart after this has happened. She joins us now live, as you can see her in that box below us. Madeline, what are you seeing out there right now? And have you been able to talk to anyone in the area to get a feeling of how those people are feeling? It's that quick freeze, the natural reaction of every human being. It's that heart sinks into your stomach, and then immediately the WTOC team gets into action. As you mentioned, Shay and Madeline both out the door immediately, each with photographers, as our digital team is trying to work to get it online. That's how that comes to you all, so that Dawn and I can then sit here and bring the information over the air as well, and send it out to Shay to bring you the updates from the hospital, send it out to Madeline to bring you updates from Fort Stewart, and that's going to continue. Again, we are less than 45 minutes away right now from a press conference that we are expecting to get from Fort Stewart officials, which will be our first chance and opportunity not only to hear from them directly, but also hopefully to ask them some questions. That's our job and responsibility. It's something that you all can't do from your couch, that it is our responsibility we hold very dear to do for you. The suspect is a male U.S. Army sergeant. That is brand new information from our partners at CBS, that again, they are getting from a U.S. official confirming that the suspect, again, who has been arrested, is a U.S. Army sergeant and is a man. Brand new, and from our national partners.
Been there today.
And I know we have this map we can show you, which at the beginning showed where this is in comparison to Savannah, but our folks in the control room, if we could show that other map as well that focuses kind of just on Fort Stewart, the wider picture with where that 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area is in comparison to the rest of the base. You're seeing this now as our folks in the control room have brought that up for us. This is kind of that larger picture as we continue to talk about Fort Stewart. Is a really large area as you drive through it. Like Dawn mentioned, a lot of information that we were learning as this press conference was approaching. We were hoping for that level of information. Let's run you through more of what the Brigadier General said. The Brigadier General, the commanding general at Fort Stewart, who just started there weeks ago. He said that the brave soldiers intervened, subdued the shooter, and that 3 of the 5 soldiers who were shot required surgical intervention after being initially treated there on the base. Again, the assailant's name is Sergeant Cornelius Radford. He is 28 years old, and he was an automated logistics sergeant there at Fort Stewart, now being held in pretrial confinement. We were talking about the judicial process beginning, and it already has.